Welcome to today's class on formatting. As discussed earlier, formatting has to do with changing the appearance of your document, like your font size, the color, and so on and so forth. So you're gonna format our document, and this is the final project I've got in front of me. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go to the raw document, that is the raw text file that has been given to me, by going to the View tab, then make my way all down to the window group, then click on Switch Windows. So click on Switch Windows, and then here I've got two documents open right down here. Final letter has a check mark in front of it, which means it is the one currently displaying on screen right now. I'm going to starting point. So when I go to starting point, you look at this. Well, I don't know how many people would accept this if you should present a document like this to them, because this is not presentable at all. And that is why my boss came up with the idea that, hey Wayne, I want you to prepare this document for me, which I prepared, and this is the final output. The first thing I'm going to be doing is, let me still go back to my starting point, then double click on the title bar to maximize things up, and then here I'm going to go to my home tab, and as I said earlier, I would focus on font group and then paragraph group under the home tab right here. So, well, what I want to do here is that I want all of these texts in the document to take the same font. So I'm going to click on this one, that is this side right here, hold and drag. This is going to select everything. Another way, let me click to deselect. Another way to get around with it is for you to go to the home tab, then make your way to editing group of the ribbon, click on select, then you are presented with this select, then click on all from the drop list, then that will select all for you. Let me click again to deselect, and another way to do that selection is to press Ctrl A on the keyboard. So Ctrl plus A will select everything for you right here. Now notice from the font group we have the font here called Calibri Body. That is not what I used. Instead, I used a font called Arial. So I'm going to click down, then make my way all the way down. Now you can see theme font. This has to do with the themes we've got with their fonts being used. Then we've got recently used fonts, and I've used a couple of fonts including Arial. So I'm going to click on Arial, and that is the font I used. Now I got what I want right down there in terms of font. Now here we have what is known as the font size. Now the size I am going to use for this particular document is 13. Actually, it's supposed to be 14, but then I'm going to use 13. The reason is there is no 13 in this list. So how do you modify that? Well, go to the little box right here, then if you like, you can highlight or delete whatever you've got there. Then type in 13, and having typed that, press the enter key on the keyboard. When you press the enter key on the keyboard, that would take care of that for you. Then next, I would change my line spacing, that is the space between the lines. I'm going to go to the paragraph group and then click on line and paragraph spacing. Then you see the drop list over there, that is the drop down. I will choose let me say 1.5. Let me start with 1.5 to see if I would get what I want. Yes, I will choose 1.5 from that list over there, and that looks way better. Now I would click to deselect. Well, the municipal director, blah 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 blah, all the way down to Toko. Right here, I would click in front of Toko. Then I want a very huge space in between the Deni Toko and then Dear Frank. But then when I press the enter key, notice the space has become very huge out there. That is not what I want to do. Instead, I will press the backspace to get rid of that. with the cursor blinking there, I will go to my line and paragraph spacing, then add space after paragraph. Then you notice I've got a very beautiful line going on out there. The same thing I'm going to do, dear Frank. But then instead of using add space after paragraph, I would click right here or even here, that is letter of introduction. Then I would go over here to the line and paragraph spacing, then choose add space before paragraph, and you'll notice that I've got the same space right here as I've got over here. That's nice. Still, I'll go over here, then click, then add space after paragraph. Then I've got a very beautiful paragraph going on out there. Now notice in this document, I've got a couple of paragraphs going on all the way down to this region. So what I'm going to do is this. I will select this, that is, I will click right at the end of the document, then scroll up. Notice my cursor is down there blinking. I didn't click because if you click, you're going to have a bit of problem. So I'm going to scroll up, then hold down the shift key on the keyboard. It's very important. Shift key must be down. Then click right here. That is going to select this. Now what we want to do over here is we want to actually add spacing to the paragraphs as we did over here, but then this time we don't want to waste a lot of time. So I will go to line and paragraph spacing, then click on add space after paragraph. Now this time notice I've got nice paragraphs going on right here. Well, that looks pretty much beautiful, but then one more thing, I want the alignment here to be as the same as here. So I would have to go to the paragraph group, choose this justify command over here, which also has a keyboard shortcut of Control J for justify. And now notice it's been justified both at the left and then the right margins very beautifully. Well, now let me come over here. Right here, I'm going to select this by positioning the mouse pointer right before this guy. Click, then I will change my font size to, let's say, 16. Then also I would have to bold it, and if I'm not okay with the bold, I can also underline this. Well, the choice is yours. And then I want this letter of introduction to come to the middle. Well, I see a lot of people clicking somewhere here, then pressing the space bar until they get to the middle. Well, how accurate would you be? Well, resist the edge. Instead, take advantage of the paragraph group of the ribbon, then click on center. So notice my cursor was inside there blinking. You can also select it before you do that, but I prefer putting my cursor inside, then use this alignment called center, which also has a keyboard shortcut of Control E. So this is going to center it for you, and then you are good to go. Now notice I've got my document, and when we compare this to what we've got over here, the final, well, it looks like we are not far from success. We are not far from success, and this is pretty damn good. Well, let us continue by going to our starting point, and I've also got this. Let me actually select this guy a bit, then get rid of it. Then I would come here, Win Asafo, right in front. Then let me go back to my home tab, choose add space after paragraph, and now notice the founder and CEO is now down. The reason is pretty simple, because I've hit my margin. So instead, let me close the gap right here. I'm going to click here, then go over there to line and paragraph space, and then you will see this remove space after paragraph. Click on it, and that is going to take care of that space over there. Then here I've got this document. Now looking at it with the final one, you will notice that we've got a little change right here. Instead of Joe right here, I've got Frank. So we need to change the Frank to Joe. And how do we do that? Well, let me show you one way out. Let me go back to my home tab, then click on find and replace in the editing group of the ribbon. So click on find and replace. Then what do I want to find? I want to find Frank in this document. So Frank, then replace it with Joe. And at this time, I'm going to click on replace all. Well, a pop-up notification dialog is going to appear telling you that, hey, all done. We made one replacement, which is because we only have one Frank right here. So, okay, and then close. Now, when you look at this, dear Joe, well, coming back to our final letter, we have dear Joe, and here is the end of the formatting right here inside Microsoft Word 2019. Now, I would like to get feedback from you. When you are done preparing this, I want you to take a photograph of it, share it with others in the group. Let's see how you all are doing in the group. And thank you very much. I'm so grateful. See you.